इंडिया में यूजुअली टीचर्स का जॉब है जो वो एक हाई पेइंग जॉब नहीं कंसिडर किया जाता अगर कंपेयर करें बाकी जॉब से.
Bust that myth that teaching is also equally rewarding career. But the question is that what are those rewards in teaching vis-a-vis those rewards in other careers?
Correct.
I mean, that one has to recognize.
जिन साइंटिस्ट को आप रेफर कर रहे हैं प्रोबेबली सो दे हैव बीन एथिस्ट फॉर सम टाइम व्हेन दे कुड नॉट फाइंड सम आंसर्स लास्ट में आकर के उनको लगा नहीं ये तो फिर भगवान को पता होगा.
In all philosophies, Western, Eastern, Abrahamic philosophies, it is believed that we all are human beings
जी.
are part of a creation. The most interesting role is teaching, most enjoyable and most fundamental to a teacher or a principal is teaching.
बाहर वाले जो हैं वो स्कूल को ना बहुत क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं कि स्कूल एजुकेशन जो है वो आउटडेटेड है, जेल से इंस्पायर्ड है, कुछ बोलते हैं बैंक से इंस्पायर्ड है कि बच्चा आपने सबमिट किया और इंटरेस्ट के साथ बाहर निकलना है.
A strategic leadership is one which is able to identify the exact needs of the stakeholders and how to utilize or provide resources to achieve that.
वेलकम टू माइंड मिंगल पॉडकास्ट सर. हाउ आर यू फीलिंग टुडे?
Oh, thank you, Shakeel.
मुझे याद है अभी तो रिसेंटली हमने IM वाला इवेंट किया एंड right after your session a lot of people came to me thanking me. मुझे नहीं लगता कि आपको enough लोगों ने thank बोला होगा because I was there for more time.
I know.
Because of you they thanked me that I invited you for that event.
No, that's so nice of them. Thank you very much, and I'm happy that it raised your stature in the committee of principals.
Yes.
Because that's very important because people invest their money, their time, energy,
correct.
Travel long distances, and when they come to programs like those, and if they don't have takeaways, and if they don't have the lived experience of having gotten something, then they feel very bad.
Correct.
So I make it a point that whatever I have, I should give my best.
Because case studies थी उसमें एक तो बहुत practical था. So because a lot of time what happens in sessions people talk about their ideas, their perception. ठीक है कि मुझे ऐसा लगता है और वो उसको सच की तरह बताने लगते हैं. और एक होता है कि मैंने ये जिया है, कि ये मैंने किया है अपनी लाइफ में, ये इम्प्लीमेंट किया है, उसके बाद ऐसा हुआ है. तो वो एक्सपीरियंसेस एब्सोल्युटली अलग हैं.
Thank you.
थोड़ा सा अब हम स्टार्ट करेंगे, थोड़ा सा आपके बारे में जानेंगे. सो आपका जो करियर है एज एन एडुकेटर ही स्टार्ट किया आपने और हाउ वाज इट स्टार्टेड? यू वर अ टीचर?
Absolutely. So I must tell you that story, and all the youngsters who will be listening to it or watching it, they would love to listen to this story. So like any youngster, I was doing my post-graduation with a lot of aspirations, dreams and ख्वाब, ये करेंगे वो करेंगे. तो and in Allahabad University there was a trend that you do your post graduation, you start doing research, you start getting scholarships, your dependency on your parents is over forever. And then you prepare to get into competitions and get into job and things like that, and some people end up doing their research also. I mean, that was the situation I'm talking of many years ago. I also joined the same queue. And one fine morning, my professor, who was a learned man, I salute his scholarship. He was a poet. He was a literary figure, and he was a physicist of great stature, not an ordinary stature. And he said that, hello Ashok, what are you doing? Your research is progressing or not? And, like a youngster, whatever you could say to make him happy and yet let him know that things are not moving in the manner in which they should. He said, would you be interested in teaching? And then I thought that professor is going on long leave on some research fellowship or something, and he will hand over all his classes to me. I said, yes sir, I'll do that. And then he looked at me and he said, no, I'm not going to give you my classes, as if he was reading through my mind or what divine power he had. And he said that, look Ashok, I'm teaching in a university, but I can tell you with my experience and whatever little wisdom that I have, that the real challenge lies in dealing with young minds. I did not understand the full meaning of it. As it is, I was not prepared for it. A fresh university graduate. So I said, sir, you tell me what is in your mind. And he said that, come over breakfast to my house tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. That was like orders from a professor to his research scholar. I landed up a little before 8 o'clock to his house. The breakfast table was laid down, and I saw that there is a very tall, imposing personality sitting next to the professor.
Okay.
And I was invited on the same table, and the professor introduced him to me that he is so and so, and he runs a school. He is looking for youngsters to join him as teachers. You are a physics person. He is looking for a physics teacher, and I'll book the ticket for you and go with him tomorrow. Everything was set, no questions asked.
Okay.
I said fine, but in my hearts of heart it was that it is from here to Delhi. Let me go and enjoy for some time. I'll come back here.
Yeah.
And that is how I joined that colonel. He was a colonel from the armed forces.
That was your first job?
That was my
as a
first
teacher.
job.
Okay.
And then I landed in Gurgaon. Gurgaon was the place where I started my teaching.
So you were doing your postgraduate in
Allahabad
Allahabad University.
Allahabad.
So that was not MIT, right? Was it?
No, that was MSc. Yeah.
MSc, yes.
Yeah. So immediately after MSc.
Immediately after
Yeah.
MSc.
So I came to Gurgaon. I started working with Colonel, started enjoying. In 2 years, I just didn't know how did it pass. It was a residential school, and young children, 24 hours in their company. You are playing with them, you are eating with them, you are teaching them also sometimes, whatever you could. And 2 years down the line, I forgot everything in my life as far as choice of careers were concerned.
Okay.
No other career whatsoever. I had to be here. And that is how I became a teacher, because the love for teaching, love for children, love for child psychology, love for how children learn, how do they grow, and their love for the teacher, vice versa.
अच्छा, इंडिया में यूजुअली टीचर्स का जॉब है जो वो एक हाई पेइंग जॉब नहीं कंसिडर किया जाता है, और है भी नहीं वैसे देखा जाए तो, अगर कंपेयर करें बाकी जॉब से. जैसे आपने स्टार्ट किया होगा फर्स्ट जॉब, तो एज अ फर्स्ट जॉब अगर आप एज एन इंजीनियर और एज ए डॉक्टर स्टार्ट करेंगे तो उसके कंपैरिजन में टीचर का पे जो है कम है. तो उस टाइम पे जब आप पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट कर रहे हैं और फिज़िक्स में वो भी, ठीक है, और पहला जॉब टीचर का, तो उस तरह के एस्पिरेशन नहीं होते कि मुझे लगे कि क्या मैं इसमें जाऊँगा तो क्या मैं पैसे अच्छे कमा पाऊँगा कि नहीं.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm telling you. I'm trying to explain to you that only. That
नहीं, आपने बोला ना कि 2 साल बाद आपको लगा कि कोई दूसरी जगह नहीं जाना
because of the reasons of my lived experience of 2 years. You get my point. And if you think that is where your calling is, and that is where your passion aspirations and career aspirations both are synchronizing, and there is a perfect resonance in that, then you start forgetting. But a comment about what you said was, when I was doing research, at that time, whatever scholarship was there, my salary was 3 times when I became a teacher. Right? So that was one thing. And in a residential school, you don't pay for anything, you know. Your boarding, lodging, everything is taken care of. You see, the problem is that in teaching career, you know, in the last 40 years, you know, you start almost at the same pace in any other career. But other careers give you a very fast upward mobility, you know, and more opportunities and things like that. And that is the myth that people like me are trying to, bust that myth. That teaching is also equally rewarding career. Absolutely. But the question is that what are those rewards in teaching vis-a-vis those rewards in other careers?
Correct.
I mean, that one has to recognize. And I'll give you a very interesting example. So let us say that me and a friend of mine, both of us joined the same profession, almost in the same fashion that I narrated to you just now, and both of them were teachers, and 1 year down the line, he got into armed forces. So he became a second lieutenant. I was a teacher. So after some time, I became a coordinator, then I became a headmaster, and then vice principal, and then I became a principal, and so on, so on. But by the time I became principal, he was a colonel, a lieutenant colonel, let us say, right? Now, after lieutenant colonel, you get your promotions, but after that, the selection process starts, and all lieutenant colonels will not become colonels, and all colonels will not become brigadiers, and all brigadiers will not become major generals, and only one will become the chief, isn't it?
Correct.
So, and as a principal, when you become principal, then you remain principal for a very long time, isn't it? In my case,
in another school,
then you shift places and things like that. But you see the whole world. I'm not pitching one career against the other. I'm only trying to pitch teaching career in a perspective. And that is why I'm taking this only as an example, and it should not be misunderstood. Now, in other careers, somebody became chief engineer or deputy chief engineer or a senior medical officer or medical superintendent or things like that, isn't it? In the civil services, you became a commissioner or secretary or something like that. But the question is, as a principal, you get that kind of satisfaction where all these people will come to you and put their children under your command. Isn't it?
They trust you.
And then you become a different kind of a figure in the society. And if you have really lived to your values and to your principles, to your morals, to your leadership, to your innovation, I think the kind of respect that you command, you will not get it at many other places. And that is what I want to let the youngsters know. As a principal or as a teaching profession, I mean, in other professions, what do you get? I mean, I have traveled to more than 30 countries.
Correct.
Right? I have had the free opportunity to learn the whole library with 20,000 books is at my disposal. You go and read as much as you like. All the grounds and courts and play facilities are at my disposal. You go and play squash. You go and play football if you want. You go and play badminton if you want. Where will you get all these facilities?
It's more about what you see value in, actually.
Absolutely.
Because if somebody is looking at just money as value,
yes.
तो हो सकता है उसके लिए तो है ही नहीं ना फिर
no,
job नहीं है.
Not at all. Not at all.
और बहुत सारी और जॉब्स भी हैं शायद जो आपको नहीं देंगी शायद वो वैल्यू. तो करेक्शन ये है कि अगर मैं एज अ यंगस्टर एक जॉब ढूंढ रहा हूँ उस टाइम पे, तो आई शुड नो व्हाट मेक्स मी हैप्पी. So if I am able to understand that early in life, I'll be able to decide my
so
career.
So if you discover your calling, then there is absolutely no issue.
आपने फिजिक्स की बात की, तो फिजिक्स में कैसे इंटरेस्ट आया? बिकॉज फिजिक्स के टीचर बनना, इसका मतलब फिजिक्स का एक्सपीरियंस आपका अच्छा रहा है एज अ स्टूडेंट, राइट?
Yeah, naturally.
So you must have had good teachers.
I was above average student. I have had very good teachers in my life, though I studied in a village, I studied in a town, I studied in a city, I studied in Allahabad University. So my student experience was very diverse, from squatting on the floor to the the magnificent Oxford of the East. Allahabad University is known as. So I was lucky. I got all the experiences and all that, and then you are also to a great extent 40 years ago certainly, but even today also in a way you are governed by what are others doing, what gives you more social prestige. If you are a very good student, you will go in for sciences, isn't it? I mean, things are changing now. I have changed it myself as a principal, and I never distinguished between science, commerce and humanities on the basis of their merit and things like that. But at that time it was very natural that good or above average students will go for sciences. And I went for science. And somehow I was a weak-hearted boy. And therefore biology was not my calling. Because in my time you had to dissect a frog and things like that. And I was very scared of that. So much so that in 10th class only I left biology. I said, I will not do biology. So from 10th class onwards, I left biology, so I went for chemistry, I went for mathematics, I went for statistics, all those things, but not biology. And then naturally I grew into physics because I was interested. It gave me a little bit of kick and excitement, how things function, how physics influences nature, what are the mysteries of physics, what are the excitements of
physics. It is one of the
physics.
most fascinating subjects, but also very difficult. Because
I would not
so
say
much.
it's very difficult. It always depends how interested you are, you know, and you know, one subject or the other will be difficult for some people, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, there is no subject on the earth which is not difficult for some people.
Absolutely correct. Yes. The simplest one also. मतलब अगर किसी को लगता है कि let's say drawing simple है, तो drawing
I think that is the most difficult.
Most difficult है. वो
That's
simple
the most difficult one.
वो तो बहुत difficult subject है.
Absolutely.
Maths से डर लगता है लोगों को, physics से डर लगता है usually. So ऐसे देखा जाता है कि difficult subjects हैं. मैंने ये पूछा था इसलिए because again बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है और ऑल्सो वी हैव अ कंपनी कॉल्ड स्पार्क एस्ट्रोनॉमी.
Okay.
So we teach space science to students and so I want to know your experience because physics is a reality.
Yeah.
And I also believe कि otherwise also physics तो पढ़ना ही चाहिए. जैसे basic of physics और basic of maths आपको आना ही चाहिए no matter which like stream you wanna really follow.
I mean, you see, I think every subject or discipline in a way it sparks or ignites some curiosity, some interest. There is no doubt about it. But the sciences, by virtue of what they are, you know, they are the natural igniters of mind, isn't it? They naturally create curiosity. They naturally prepare you for asking questions and finding answers. You know, they naturally make you good observers, isn't it?
Correct.
I mean, you observe, and two people observe the same thing. One would ask a question and the other would not. You know, you observe and you move on. So these are some of the nuances of being a science student, and physics naturally creates all those excitements.
Now another very interesting question which keeps coming to my mind is coming. I was also discussing it with some educators today. They came to my office. So since you are from science background and especially physics, do you believe in God?
I always believe in God.
Okay.
But believing in God is one thing. But you know, let me expand it a bit. And that expansion is very important. That believing in God, I think even some of the die-hard scientists who declared themselves to be atheists and non-believers, they also came across in their lives when something happened and that happening was attributed only to one thing, that there is some force which governs all of us. Right?
But that
even
is what physics say.
Yeah. So I'm talking of those. I'm not. It is not physics versus God. The question is that if you achieve something, what would you say? You have achieved it? Are you the doer of that?
Not individually.
Not
there are
individually.
so many factors.
So many factors.
अकेले तो नहीं कर सकता.
अकेले तो वो नहीं कर सकता ना. अच्छा, वो सब मिल करके when they all become one unit, then they have not done it. Then there is some other factor. Then there is some other factor. Where will you take that factor to? And it is that ultimate factor. You call it God, you call it a superpower, you call it super energy, you call it something to which we have to surrender as human beings. And my belief in God stems from there.
Because usually जैसे अभी आपकी बातों से भी मुझे लगा और मैंने ये क्वेश्चन पूछे हैं काफ़ी लोगों से भी, क्योंकि हमारे पास आंसर नहीं होता है लास्ट में, तो हम गॉड बीच में ले आते हैं. तो यूजुअली ऐसा ही होता है. तो जैसे जिन साइंटिस्ट को आप रेफ़र कर रहे हैं प्रोबेबली, सो दे हैव बीन एथिस्ट फॉर सम टाइम एंड व्हेन दे कुड नॉट फाइंड सम आंसर्स, लास्ट में आकर के उनको लगा नहीं ये तो फिर भगवान को पता होगा. राइट? तो ये
so the answer to the whole thing is that in all philosophies, Western, Eastern, Abrahamic philosophies, it is believed that we all are human beings, are part of a creation. So if we are all part of that creation, I think then somebody is causing that creation. And that cause, you call it God or you call it by some other name, ultimately everybody has to come to that.
But then, again, because I'm not satisfied, so I would get deeper into it. So, cause, मान लेते हैं कि cause, there has to be a cause for some creation. But then it should never be ending, because then God is a creation in himself.
Yeah, of course.
So there must be a creator of God. And then there must be a creator of that and that and that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It will go on. And if we have to settle it, that somewhere there must be somebody who has created everything. So why can't that be just universe in itself?
Okay. Fine. So if I say
also
that I believe in you, the superpower of the universe, and for me, universe is the ultimate, and whatever I do or whatever has been done through me, I offer it to the universe.
हाँ, but ये exactly. So ये जो कहानियाँ है कि मतलब मुझे ऑफर करना है या फिर somebody is controlling, then it becomes God. Let's say nobody is controlling and nothing. Those rules defined in religious books of different religions, they all are different. So पहला तो ये कि ये कॉन्ट्राडिक्टिंग है कि बहुत सारा डिफरेंसेस हैं. तो बहुत छोटे रिलीजन्स हैं जो कबीलों में चलते हैं, देन बड़े रिलीजन्स हैं जो देशों में चलते हैं, और उससे बड़े होकर के वो पूरी दुनिया में फैले हुए हैं. सो ऐसे करके अलग अलग रिलीजन है, सबकी अपनी अपनी बुक्स हैं और सब में कुछ कुछ कहानियाँ हैं. सब कुछ ना कुछ वापस गॉड को ऑफर करना चाहते हैं. लेकिन जैसे जो यूनिवर्स का कॉन्सेप्ट है वो तो सब अपने आप ही चल रहा है. तो नो, यू आर नॉट रियली आंसरेबल टू द गॉड एज पर द यूनिवर्स कॉन्सेप्ट. बट अगर हम गॉड रख देते हैं वहाँ पे, देन यू बिकम आंसरेबल. अनदर क्वेश्चन जस्ट केम इन माई माइंड कि जैसे सारा जो तमाशा है वो हम लोगों ने बनाया हुआ है, मतलब इंसानों ने. लेकिन जैसे क्या आपको लगता है कि जो बाकी बीइंग हैं इंसानों के अलावा, उनका भी तो उतना ही हक है ना इस ज़मीन पे?
बाकी बीइंग मीन्स अदर क्रिएचर्स.
ऑफ कोर्स,
ऑफ कोर्स.
वो तो बो डाउन नहीं कर रहे लेकिन किसी गॉड को.
आई मीन यू कांट,
तो सिर्फ क्योंकि कहानी क्रिएट करने की एबिलिटी हमारी है इंसानों की, उनके पास शायद एबिलिटी नहीं.
दैट वुड बी अ वेरी लॉन्गर डिस्कशन, a little more diversified. But the question is, all creatures are equally important. And in the Hindu philosophy, it is always said, sarve bhavantu sukhina.
जी.
You get my point? So sarve never says only all human beings.
Yes. Sab.
It never says that all human beings and animals. No. Sarve means any creature.
Yes.
Bhavantu sukhina. You get my point? So if that is the philosophy, and the another philosophy which will answer your question partially, if not fully, that we might have created different ways. But then again, we all have to go to the one source only. The pathways are different. Pathways are different. And it is perfectly fine. I mean, from my house, I have come here through one pathway. Google could have taken me through another pathway also.
Correct.
Isn't it? But ultimately, I had to come to Vikas studio, isn't it?
Nice.
Right? Yeah. So I think I understand what you are saying, but the question is, you believe in God or you don't believe in God, at least you should never believe that you are the superpower, or you are the cause of anything, or you are the source of anything. Because, you know,
उसके तो enough evidence है कि नहीं है.
Yeah, the danger in that is that you will lose touch with yourself. You will become arrogant. You know, you will not be the product of an educated person. Why you will not be product of an educated person is because the test of an educated person is that vidya dadati vinaya. That if you are educated, the first evidence of that is that you become humble. You know, humility. And humility will dictate everything, that how do you treat yourself, how do you treat others, how do you treat animals, how do you treat flora and fauna, how do you treat trees, you know,
बिल्कुल.
how do you treat an unknown stranger sitting on the road, all those things will come from there. I think to that extent, it is very important that at least we have someone, whatever name you give, to whom we say, no, thank you very much, you are with me.
आई नो ये बहुत लंबा चला जाएगा, बट इसमें जैसे अभी आपने बोला, आई 100% अग्री विद दिस कि हम्बल होना है और घमंड नहीं आना चाहिए, ठीक है, एरोगेंट हो जाओगे और खुद को सुप्रीम नहीं समझना। ये सुप्रीम ना समझने के तो हमारे पास इनफ एविडेंस ऑलरेडी है कि हम खुद को समझ ही नहीं सकते हैं सुप्रीम। जैसा भी आपने बोला कि जो भी मैंने किया तो क्या मैंने किया अकेले नहीं, आप कनेक्टेड है, बहुत सारी चीज़ों से, बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स थे उसने प्ले किया वहाँ पे। लेकिन जो आउटकम की आप बात कर रहे हैं डेफिनेटली वो तो चाहिए, बट वो रिलीजन से तो आ ही नहीं रहा है। रिलीजन इनफैक्ट एरोगेंट बना रहा है लोगों को। और जैसे दो साइंटिस्ट हैं, एक साइंटिस्ट आप हो गए, एक मैं हो गया, और आपने एक थ्योरी बनाई, मैंने उसके अगेंस्ट बना दी थ्योरी, ठीक है। और अगर हम इसमें डिफरेंस भी मान लें, लेट्स से आपने कुछ एक खोज कर दी है और मुझसे 50 साल पहले, और आपको नोबेल मिल गया उस पर, मैंने उसको गलत साबित कर दिया तो मुझे नोबेल मिल जाता है। और ऐसा हुआ है पास्ट में फिजिक्स में कि उसको गलत साबित करने पे नोबेल मिल गया है, तो मतलब दोनों सेलिब्रेट हो रहे हैं। या फिर अगर आपके रहते हुए भी, माना कि आपने एक बात बताई और मुझे लगा दूसरा एंगल है इसका, और मैंने उसके बिल्कुल अगेंस्ट बता दी कि नहीं ये चीज़ ऐसे नहीं होती है, ये ऐसे होती है, दैट इज़ ऑल्सो विल बी सेलिब्रेटेड। देयर विल बी सम पीपल सपोर्टिंग मी, सम पीपल सपोर्टिंग यू, बट ऐसा नहीं होगा कि मैं आपके घर पे आ जाऊँ लड़ाई करने के लिए, जो कि रिलीजन वाले करते हैं। तो दो रिलीजन वाले ये ज़रूर कर रहे होते हैं, तो रिलीजन तो ये कर रहा है, साइंस ये नहीं करवा रहा।
I would slightly differ here, and I'll tell you something very interesting. It is not true that scientists don't fight. Scientists have had the ugliest of fight.
ऐसा दंगे वाला जैसे हम लोग करते हैं?
नहीं, दंगे की बात नहीं है।
एग्जैक्ट मैं उसी की कंपेयर कर रहा हूं।
I'm coming to that. It is not danga. The argument and the question, and that is what education teaches us.
जी, exactly.
That we have to listen to each other. We have to be respectful. We have to be on facts. But as far as the religious differences you are talking about, I have a different take on it. That people who actually understand religion,
they don't fight.
They don't fight.
बाकी जो लड़ रहे हैं, तमाशा कर रहे हैं, वो समझ ही नहीं रहे हैं, इसलिए कर रहे हैं। That I can
have nothing to do with religion. They have nothing to do with religion.
उन्हें समझ ही नहीं आया है।
उनको समझ में नहीं आया। Either they have been misled by some vested interests, or they have not understood it themselves, or they themselves have some vested interest in doing what they do, apparently. But to blame that religion is the cause for that will be a little too far-fetched, in my opinion.
No, this point is quite valid. उन्हें समझ में ही नहीं आया, इसलिए वो लड़ रहे हैं।
Yes.
ये it's very much possible.
Exactly.
अच्छा, you talked about your career. जैसे एक टीचर बनने के बाद आपने एक जर्नी बताई कि एक टीचर बनने के बाद आप प्रमोट होते हैं, कोऑर्डिनेटर बनते हैं, फिर हेडमास्टर बन जाते हैं, वाइस प्रिंसिपल, एंड इन सारे रोल्स में सारे रोल्स अलग हैं। एक टीचर एक्सपीरियंस लेकर के आता है पढ़ाने का, कि बीएड किया, उसमें सिखाया जाता है कैसे पढ़ाना है, ठीक है। रोल्स धीरे धीरे चेंज होते रहते हैं, तो इसमें सबसे डिफ़िकल्ट रोल कौन सा होता है आपके हिसाब से? बिकॉज यू हैव सीन द एंटायर जर्नी, उसके बाद यू बिन हेल्पिंग अदर स्कूल्स ऑल्सो आफ्टर रिटायरमेंट, कि उनकी हेल्प किया आपने, अदर टीचर्स, स्कूल लीडर्स, यू बिन हेल्पिंग के हाउ टू।
आई विल टेल यू, डिफिकल्ट एंड ईसी पे आई विल कम लेटर
जी,
बट द मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग रोल इज टीचिंग।
ओके।
Most enjoyable and most fundamental to a teacher or a principal is teaching.
Okay. And right? Why would you say that?
I'll tell you. So the question is, for a soldier, what is the most important thing?
To protect.
To fight.
To fight.
Right?
Soldier
for a doctor, for a surgeon, what is most important?
To save lives.
To save life, to do surgery in the operation theater.
Ji.
Isn't it? For engineer, the most important thing is to build bridges, create monuments. So for a teacher, the most important thing is teaching.
Correct.
And imparting knowledge and things like that. But as you grow, you start accumulating some administrative role. And that administrative role becomes the management of your profession. So for a doctor, it could be managing the doctors or managing a hospital. For a soldier, it could be managing a warfare institute. Isn't it? For engineer, likewise. So similarly, you become a principal, then you start managing education, start managing curriculum, start managing pedagogy, isn't it? You start preparing more teachers. You create a pipeline for the teachers to come and join, isn't it? So every role, and moreover, in every role, it is the human nature, that you want to grow. You want to grow intellectually. You want to grow your responsibility wise, isn't it? And that growth, your focus area plus administration. So when you become a coordinator, a little bit of administration will come.
बिल्कुल हाँ धीरे-धीरे वो बढ़ता जाता है काम.
But the moment you become the principal, and if you assume that now my only role is administration, that is the folly. And that is where the problem begins. I think even as a principal also, you should not, forget about your teaching. And that is what I suggest. I mean, in fact, I'll tell you something very interesting. The actual designation is principal teacher.
Okay.
It is not principal. It is principal teacher. Okay. So you are a teacher, but you are the principal
teacher. Yeah.
In UK, even today, you have headmasters. Top schools, they call principals also, but top schools, Eton, Harrow, Rugby, their heads are known as headmasters, not principals. So headmaster, master and headmaster.
Yes.
Today, Doon School principal, what is the designation?
Headmaster.
Sanavar?
Yeah,
headmaster.
Yes.
Because they follow the same system. But what is the philosophy behind it? The philosophy behind it is that you become a master and then you become a headmaster.
Yes.
You become a teacher, you become a principal teacher. So that you are always reminded of the fact that you are basically a teacher.
I have met many principal, वो आज भी पढ़ाते हैं.
बिल्कुल पढ़ाते हैं.
वो टाइम निकालते हैं, वो डेली क्लासेस लेते ही लेते हैं.
Very religiously. They do it. Because then, first of all, as you said, that you became principal because you were a good teacher. So why should the teaching suffer from your absence just because you have become a principal? So let that be there. You become a role model. Let the other teachers learn from you. Let them see how you teach, how you prepare your lessons, isn't it? How you create magic and engagement in the classrooms.
Why I was asking this question actually, जैसे other industries में जब हम देखते हैं ना, तो managers के लिए management courses होते हैं already. So एक engineer है, वो engineering समझने के लिए engineering कर लेता है and then masters कर लेता है, let's say MBA कर लिया, तो management भी समझ में आ गया. And these people are then appointed directly at some managerial role. If you have studied from a good college, then you will some good company will take you at a leadership role. Smaller leadership, maybe mid leadership, but they will give you some leadership role. So because they studied leadership. स्कूल में यूजुअली ऐसा होता है, मतलब मोस्टली तो ऐसा ही होता है कि टीचर है, बहुत अच्छा टीचर है, वो उसको पढ़ाना आता है, बहुत मज़ा आ रहा है, उसको प्रमोट कर दिया जाता है और रोल्स धीरे धीरे चेंज होते रहते हैं. लेकिन प्रिंसिपल एक्चुअल में बहुत एक हाई लेवल मैनेजर है जिसको सिर्फ टीचिंग देखनी नहीं है, उसको पेरेंट्स देखने हैं, उसको बजटिंग देखनी है, उनको ब्रांडिंग देखनी है, उनको अकाउंट्स भी समझ में आना चाहिए. एंड दैट पर्सन इज़ एक्चुअली अ मैनेजर ऑर्गेनाइजिंग द एंटायर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, सो मैनी पीपल अंडर दैट. मतलब ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, लीगल इशूज़. बच्चे को ज़रा सा कुछ हो गया, अगर बच्चा बस से उतरते हुए गिर गया और उसके घुटने में चोट आ गई है, तो प्रिंसिपल के पास कॉल आएगा. तो इतनी सारी जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, तो मतलब वो जर्नी कैसी होती है? मैं आई वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड दोस चैलेंजेस.
इट्स अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट जर्नी, but I think there are ways to handle it. You have to have delegations. You have to have people working with you. You alone, you can't do this. You can't be a superhuman being, right? So, and things are changing. Of course, the buck stops at the principal's office. There is no doubt about it. But the question is that you have a counselor, you have a transport manager, you have an administrative manager, you have somebody who is heading of finance, isn't it? You have got coordinators at various
But शुरू में तो
levels.
इतना easy नहीं लगता होगा ना, ये तो आप बोल रहे हो because आपने देख लिया है सब. You have done it already. But how does it look in the beginning? जब मैं पहली बार प्रिंसिपल अगर मैं बनता हूँ,
नहीं, आज की तारीख में अगर आप प्रिंसिपल बनते हैं तब तो इतनी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
अच्छा,
जब मैं प्रिंसिपल बना तो ये सब प्रॉब्लम्स थी.
हाँ, एग्जैक्टली.
तो दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, दैट यू हैव टू इवॉल्व ना. I mean, if you think that you can do everything alone, it is not possible.
Correct.
After all, CEO of a company, you think he or she has less problem. I mean, a principal has maximum 5,000 students, but you have got 200 teachers to manage it. A CEO has 10,000 employees.
Correct.
Located at various places across the world. And they also have to meet the sales target. Their marketing, their sales, their PR.
And the customer base is much larger.
And the customer, I mean, here you have got 5,000 parents as customers, and there everybody is a customer, isn't it? So they also manage it, isn't it? So every profession has its challenges. I agree to what you are saying is that there has to be a greater preparation for the teachers to become principals. A little more training, at least in the areas of finance, public relation, legal things, because everything is now legal. The student and teacher relationship is not exactly what it used to be, isn't it? Now, more democratic we become, more progressive we become, more of our relationships become weakened, isn't it? Because everything is defined by the legal structure.
Correct.
So you need to have a legal counsel also, isn't it? So as you change, I became principal 27 years ago. So today things are not the same, and 20 years down the line the things will not be same. So that is exactly what is the quality of the leadership, that you have to be adaptable. You have to adapt to the new things. In 27 years, between year 1 and year 27, things were not the same. They were changing every time. And people like me, not only me, everybody who was my contemporary, we had to continuously change, learn, unlearn, adapt ourselves to the new situations. So that you have to do in any period of time. You will have to do that.
I want to talk to you about leadership. Before that, one question struck my mind. So, जैसे स्कूल को ना बहुत क्रिटिसाइज किया जाता है आउटसाइडर्स, मेरे जैसे लोगों से, या फिर जो भी बाहर हैं. जैसे आप काम कर रहे हैं स्कूल में, आपको अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स पता है, बट हम बाहर वाले जो हैं वो स्कूल को ना बहुत क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं कि स्कूल एजुकेशन जो है वो आउटडेटेड है, राइट. एंड देयर आर मैनी फिलॉसफीज़ की जेल से इंस्पायर्ड है, कुछ बोलते हैं बैंक से इंस्पायर्ड है कि बच्चा आपने सबमिट किया और इंटरेस्ट के साथ बाहर निकालना है. देन जेल से इंस्पायर्ड है, ये तो बहुत ज़्यादा बोला जाता है बिकॉज बहुत सारा जो स्ट्रक्चर है, जब ब्रिटिशर्स आए थे उन्होंने इस्टेब्लिश किया, एंड दे हैड दिस मॉडल ऑफ jail to control people, and they took many things like uniform, walking in line, periods, आपका cells के जैसे classrooms, timetable, everything came from jail models. This is one. And also even today, if we talk about other industries, they grow faster than school education if we compare. अगर अभी भी हम देखें कि कुछ schools हमारे शहर में जो बड़े शहर हैं वहाँ तो बहुत जल्दी आ जाती हैं सारी चीज़ें, टेक्नोलॉजी पहुँच जाती है, लेकिन एज एन इंडिया अगर हम देखेंगे एक बड़े देश को, तो बहुत सारे ऐसे schools हैं जो आज भी वही पढ़ा रहे हैं, सब एक डायरेक्शन में बैठते हैं. टीचर इज़ द सोर्स ऑफ ऑल इन्फॉर्मेशन, बट इन रियलिटी टीचर इज़ नॉट द सोर्स ऑफ ऑल इन्फॉर्मेशन. इट इज़ आउटडेटेड कम्प्लीटली. हाउ डू यू सी दिस प्रॉब्लम? मतलब क्या आपको लगता है कि सच में ये गैप्स हैं, या फिर एज ए लोकल ऑडियंस को ये लगता है, गलत लगता है कि गैप नहीं है, हम इवॉल्व हो रहे हैं अच्छे से? ये टाइम से इवॉल्व हो रहे हैं कि नहीं हो रहे हैं? मतलब ये क्वेश्चन है मेरा. मुझे लगता है आउटडेटेड है और बहुत लोगों को लगता है.
मैं इसका एक काउंटर पहले आपको देता हूँ. तो देश आज़ाद हुआ 1947 में, अब हम 2025 में पहुँच गए जी. हमारे क्या इंडिकेटर्स हैं ग्रोथ के, इकोनॉमी के, डेवलपमेंट के? हमने कुछ अचीव किया है या नहीं किया है?
बहुत सारी चीज़ें.
तो सिस्टम टोटली फेलियर है ऐसा तो नहीं है ना. अगर टोटली फेलियर सिस्टम होता तो देन दिस कंट्री शुड हैव बीन कोलैप्स बाय नाउ.
No, it's again. So it's not about the country, our country. It's about the education as whole. जो भी criticize करते हैं ना, वो स्कूल एजुकेशन को करते हैं और बाकी कंट्रीज में भी करते हैं. कुछ कंट्रीज में अप्रिशिएटेड है, इंडिया में तो बहुत क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं. छोटी कंट्रीज जैसे जो गरीब कंट्रीज हैं उसमें खराब है एजुकेशन सिस्टम, इसलिए उनकी ग्रोथ स्लो है. और दूसरा जैसे जो काम हो भी गया तो वो बोलते हैं कि जैसे किसी आई एम जस्ट फॉरगेटिंग द नेम ऑफ दैट पर्सन, ही सेड आई नेवर लेट स्कूलिंग कम इन बिटवीन माय एजुकेशन. इस तरह की जो बातें हैं कि मतलब कि मैंने तो कर लिया लेकिन मैं क्रेडिट नहीं दे रहा हूँ स्कूल को. मैं बोल रहा हूँ स्कूल ने नहीं पढ़ाया मुझे.
देखो ऐसा है.
हाँ.
इट इज़ वेरी फैशनेबल टू से समथिंग एंड यू बिकम पॉपुलर.
जी.
राइट. और आजकल तो और भी बहुत आसान है. यू से समथिंग, यू मेक ए रील एंड यू बिकम वायरल.
जी.
I mean, we have to be very serious about at least the serious things such as education, right? I'm not saying that the education system as on today is one of the best in the world. Within the world itself, it is very variable, isn't it? And what are the standards on which you test that which system is doing very well, which system is not doing very well? So there are many, of course, there are international tests, PISA scores are there, and OECD studies are there, World Economic Forum studies are there, UNESCO studies are there. The idea is that every child in this world should have quality education, as simple as that, isn't it? Now, what is the quality education? It should be accessible. It should be affordable. Somebody should be accountable for that, isn't it? And that education should make you a good human being and should give you a decent employment opportunity.
जी.
I mean, that is the standard. Now, whatever education system we have at the moment, it is very simple that if it is only doing all these for 40 children out of 100, then the education system is successful by 40%. If it is doing for 10, it is 10%. We would like it to become successful by 100%.
Correct.
And every country should aspire for that.
बिल्कुल.
Isn't it? So let us not go beyond. Talk of our own country.
जी.
Our own country itself, you have got more than 300 million children studying in this country, in 1.5 million schools, 10 million teachers. I mean, it's a huge number. You go to any other country, you quote this number, they will say you've gone mad. Well, what are you quoting? This is impossible. So we have to strengthen our system. We have to have good schools. We have to have quality teachers. We have to have quality infrastructure. And people are making efforts. It's not that efforts are not being made. But it could be better. I will agree to that. But to say that it is totally a failure, and it is robbing children of their future, that is not true. I'll have to be very, very moderate here. I'll have to be very cautionary here. That it is always better to improve the system. And if you are within the system, then you know where are the pain points. But from outside, from a different frame of reference, one can say anything. But the idea is, from this system only, our products from our rural engineering colleges, not even IITs, people have gone and they are heading the top edtech companies abroad.
हाँ, लेकिन सर ये तो
how is that happening?
Because somebody else has created
and
they
what?
just hired that company. Let's say somebody created.
Will they hire just anybody?
No.
Somebody they have hired somebody who is eminently
capable,
suited for that.
Yeah, correct.
So that suitability has come from where? From this education system.
हाँ, लेकिन इसमें again उन ज़्यादातर लोगों ने बाहर पढ़ाई की है. अगर आप उनको उठाओगे सत्य नाडेला,
मैं उनकी तो बात ही नहीं कर रहा हूँ. I am not talking of those who have studied abroad. I am talking of those who have studied here, worked outside. They have made their way to the top of the company. I'm only talking of them. I'm not talking of somebody who is from MIT or.
But that's like very small number, ना.
So how much number you want?
Because the
for indicators.
Country देखो ना कितनी बड़ी है. We are the largest in the world.
हाँ, तो we are largest in the world. So there we are fifth economy also, ना, in the world.
नहीं बट
वो फिफ्थ इकोनॉमी हम कैसे बने?
पर कैपिटा तो बहुत कम है ना,
पर कैपिटा कम है
क्योंकि इतने सारे लोग हैं,
बिकॉज इतने सारे लोग हैं,
तो वो
तो लोगों को कम कर सकते हैं क्या?
25,000 रुपए साल के कमा रहे हैं, तो वो हमारा फिफ्थ बन गए हैं।
No, you see, so you can't say this is good but this is bad. This is good, this is bad. No. You stick to one thing first, that despite all this, we are the fifth largest economy.
नहीं,
No, let me ask you this.
जी.
Let me now be the interviewer.
जी.
So the fifth largest economy you are today.
जी.
So what does it indicate?
It only indicates just one sentence that we are fifth largest. तो total combine जो है wealth हमारा हो गया है, let's say approximately
X amount हो गया, हाँ,
ठीक है, ये हमने मान लिया है, बस यही इंडिकेट करता है। इसके
तो
अलावा
अब अगर ये X amount,
इसके अलावा बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस आएंगे, फिर बाकी इंडिकेशंस निकलेंगे,
ठीक है ना? तो ये अगर X amount 2x हो जाएगा मान लो
जी,
तो उससे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा?
डबल हो जाएगी डेफिनेटली।
तो सम अमाउंट से ये X हुआ है ना, इट मीन्स 250 million people have been lifted out of poverty. This amount indicates that 25 crore people who were in abject poverty, they have been lifted out of that. More houses are lighted today. More houses have piped water. There are more toilets. There are more pakka houses in the country. So where it is all coming from?
I am not denying the improvement.
No.
इम्प्रूवमेंट तो होगा ही, बट
होगा ही ना?
कितना स्लो है ये तो डेफिनेटली। जैसे पीसा की बात की थी आपने, मैं एक एक करके आता हूँ सब पे। तो पीसा की बात की आपने, हमने 2007 के आसपास पीसा में पार्टिसिपेट किया। टोटल 74 कंट्रीज ने पार्टिसिपेट किया था, और हमारी जो दो हिमाचल एंड तमिलनाडु, दो स्टेट से हमने पार्टिसिपेट किया। हमारी रैंक थी 73rd एंड 72nd एंड 73rd।
ओके, आई एम टेलिंग यू दिस। तो 77 अगर हमारी पोजीशन थी, इट मीन्स 60,
सबसे पीछे थे हम
नहीं
जी,
वट एवर नंबर,
जी,
सपोज आवर नंबर वाज 80,
ठीक है,
इट मीन्स 79 countries were above us. तो why they are not the top economy? Why we are fifth in the economy?
because
ये कैसे
they
हुआ?
are better per capita income.
Who?
अदर कंट्रीज, लेट्स से सिंगापुर की इकोनॉमी बिल्कुल छोटी सी है हमारे
ठीक
सामने,
है,
लेकिन पर कैपिटा देखो ना। सो पर कैपिटा से फर्क पड़ता है। लेट्स से हम अगर लार्जेस्ट, मतलब आप 5 ट्रिलियन को डिवाइड करोगे 150 करोड़ में, तो बचता कितना है? उसमें से भी जब आप देखते हो कि जो आधी वेल्थ है वो तो सिर्फ टॉप 5% के पास है, जब उनको हटा देते तो और कम हो जाता है। तो हमारे पास बचता है 20,000 रुपये साल का।
तो I agree with you.
20,000 नहीं, 1,20,000 पता नहीं ऐसा कुछ बन रहा है approximately. I don't have the correct
question
data.
was education. We are not discussing economics here. This came as a side effect of your disdain, not your disdain, your impression that some people are highly critical of the education system.
Yeah.
I am saying the education system per se needs a lot of improvement, but we should not be very dismissive of our achievements. And if those achievements could be with less resources, with less progress, with less innovation, and if we continue to improve in that direction, I think we will make a greater progress.
But
that is the only point.
How do we know that? Let's say, how do we know? Let's say we talk about school only. एक स्कूल में, एक क्लास में 30 बच्चे हैं। हाउ डू वी नो कि हम जो 5 बच्चे अच्छे से पढ़ पा रहे हैं? उसके पीछे कुछ भी 4 रीज़न और हो सकते हैं, 10 रीज़न और हो सकते हैं। लेट्स से लास्ट के 5 जो नहीं पढ़ पा रहे हैं, हम उसको कैसे आगे लाएं, फास्टर कैसे करें, ये तो हम हमेशा एस्पायर करना ही है।
That's exactly what I told you.
उसी तरह से अगर हमें ये पता है कि जो पीसा में रैंकिंग अगर हमारी सबसे लास्ट में क्यों आई, तो हमने अगली बार पार्टिसिपेट ही नहीं किया, बिकॉज वी डोंट वांट टू प्रमोट दिस कि हमारी कंट्री का एजुकेशन सिस्टम ख़राब है। और तो हमने पार्टिसिपेट करना नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए था ना, हमें दिखाना चाहिए था कि हम 50 पे पहुँच गए हैं, 40 पे पहुँच गए हैं।
I am not defending PISA score.
जी जी,
but your own argument that Singapore, how many schools are there?
400 approximately
400
पूरी कंट्री में।
पूरी कंट्री में 400 है। हमारे यहाँ 15 लाख स्कूल्स।
बिल्कुल।
अगर हमने उस 15 लाख में से अपने 400 बेस्ट स्कूलों को आप करवाया होता, we would have been first in PISA.
मैं समझा नहीं, दोबारा हमने
दोबारा बता रहे हैं, सिंगापुर में कितने स्कूल हैं?
हाँ, 400 के आसपास है।
400 स्कूल, तो यानी 400 स्कूलों ने पीसा में भाग लिया ना।
हाँ शायद अगर 400 ने लिया होगा, करेक्ट।
हमारे यहाँ 15 लाख स्कूल हैं,
जी।
तो हम इस 15 लाख में से अपने 400 बेस्ट स्कूलों को पार्टिसिपेट करवाया होता तो हमारे पीसा में फर्स्ट नंबर आया होता।
ऐसा तो हो ही जाएगा, बट ये थोड़ी ना कोई तरीका है सही।
वहाँ पे सिंगापुर और इंडिया का कैसे आप कर सकते?
कोई भी स्कूल जो अच्छा होता है वो अच्छा होता है कि उसका जो बॉटम है वो कितना अच्छा है, टॉप तो सबका ही अच्छा है।
हाँ, तो बॉटम का रिजल्ट तो हमारे पास नहीं है ना, कंट्री का रिजल्ट है हमारे पास। उनके भी बॉटम का रिजल्ट नहीं है,
तो ऐसे ही निकलता है ना।
वी हैव नो रिजल्ट ऑफ द बॉटम ऑफ दोज कंट्रीज आल्सो। तो इसलिए वो पीसा उसे छोड़ दो, वो बहुत वो दैट आई नो, फॉरगेट अबाउट दैट।
ठीक है, मैं तो आपका फाइनल आंसर है कि बहुत बढ़िया है, ठीक चल रहा है सब।
नो, आई एम सेइंग देयर इज लॉट दैट
इंप्रूवमेंट की जरूरत है ना,
इंप्रूवमेंट की जरूरत है, एंड वी आर डूइंग इट, एंड वी आर डूइंग इट।
बट आरएनबी स्लो, मेरा सिर्फ ये क्वेश्चन था।
आरएनबी स्लो और फास्ट कुछ नहीं होता है। देखिए आप, अगर हम इसी बात को घुमा के
मेरे पास 3-4 क्वेश्चंस और हैं। अगर जैसे इकोनॉमी की हमने बात की, आपने बात की कि हमारे जो बच्चे हैं वो वर्ल्ड की बेस्ट कंपनीज हेड कर रहे हैं, लेकिन बना नहीं रहे हैं वर्ल्ड की बेस्ट कंपनीज। ये भी प्रॉब्लम है ना कि वो इनोवेशन सिलिकॉन वैली में क्यों हो रहा है या फिर चाइना में क्यों हो रहा है, इंडिया में क्यों नहीं हो पा रहा है। अगर हमारे यहाँ होता भी, अभी पीयूष गोयल जी ने बोला ना जाकर के वहाँ पे कि आपने लेबर ही बना दिया सबको। जो स्टार्टअप है क्या कर रही है, वो ऐसे स्टार्टअप्स चला रही हैं जिसमें कि डिलीवरी बॉय बना दिया सबको। वो सबसे बड़े स्टार्टअप्स हैं इंडिया में।
देखो ऐसा है ना कि
इनोवेशन क्यों नहीं है,
आई विल टेल यू।
अगर सब कुछ ठीक है,
इनोवेशन होना चाहिए। वो हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम का फेलियर है कि हमने जो है, बिकॉज वी वर एन एस्पिरेशनल सोसाइटी, और हमारी पढ़ाई जो है केवल नौकरी पाने के लिए थी।
हाँ वही ना,
नौकरी क्रिएट करने के लिए नहीं थी। वो सिस्टम चेंज हो रहा है अब। बट द डिफरेंस दैट यू एंड आई आर डिफरिंग इज दैट you are saying that half glass is empty. I am saying no, half is filled. And then it will be quarter filled, then it will be full filled, then it will be brimming out. I am saying that. You get my point? So I don't know your age, but I can tell you with certainty, when I was a young child, I had to walk to 6 kilometers to go to my school. Right? And the railway station was 10 kilometers from my village. And there was no conveyance available. Right? I come from one of the relatively backward states of this country. Right?
You would like to name it?
Uttar Pradesh. I'm sitting right here in Uttar Pradesh. Today we are sitting in Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah, it's a developed part of Uttar Pradesh.
But even the least developed of Uttar Pradesh is eastern Uttar Pradesh. So I come from eastern Uttar Pradesh. And do you know how many airports are there in Uttar Pradesh now?
Not exact number, but so many. छोटी-छोटी cities में भी आ गए हैं.
More than 15 already. And the village where I come from, there are 2 airports now within 30 kilometers of my village. Gorakhpur and Kushinagar. Varanasi, which is not very far. Agra, Allahabad, Kanpur, Ayodhya. Now Ayodhya is one of the... Now, why I'm saying this is, if there are airports, it means people are flying.
Correct.
And only rich people are not flying. You go in the aircraft, you will know who is flying.
हाँ, दिख जाएगा आपको.
You know who is flying.
Everybody is able to access.
It means the people's capacity to fly by air, that base is expanding. That base is expanding.
Natural है.
तो पैसा है तभी तो हो रहा है भाई.
But बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम लग गया ना यहाँ पहुँचने में. हम बहुत.
तो अब हम यहाँ पॉलिटिक्स डिस्कस करें बैठ के कि कांग्रेस ने कुछ नहीं किया या बीजेपी ने किया. अब ये तो हम नहीं डिस्कस करेंगे.
एजुकेशन डिस्कस कर रहे हैं.
तो फिर
हम बात कर रहे हैं कि
so that's what I'm saying. So as educationists, let us say that development has happened. But why it is slow, that you and I cannot discuss here. And our audience is not interested in that, isn't it? Our audience is interested in the fact that we have to be proud of our country. We have to be proud as our nation. We have to be proud of our diversity. We have to go back to our roots, our culture, our heritage. And we have to have belief in our system. And we have to work for the betterment of the system.
Absolutely.
I think that is the message that we have to give. You get my point?
Proud, again, proud तो हमें होना ही है डेफिनेटली, लेकिन उतना करना है हमें रियलिटी में रह करके ही हो सकता है. हम पर्दा डाल के प्राउड नहीं हो सकते हैं, बिकॉज ये तो हमें बहुत क्लियर होना चाहिए
result
कि
is there.
कि चाइना की इकोनॉमी 40 साल पहले हमारे बराबर थी बिल्कुल, ऑलमोस्ट, कभी हम ऊपर कभी वो नीचे एक साल में, ठीक है. एंड दे आर हाउ मेनी टाइम्स, दे आर ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 6 times, एंड पॉपुलेशन में हम आगे निकल गए उनसे. बट ये सब पता होगा तभी तो, जैसे अगर सिंपल सा आपने एक एग्जांपल दिया कि 4 रास्ते हैं यहाँ पे घर से मुझे इस स्टूडियो में पहुँचने के लिए, मैंने एक चूज़ किया उसमें. लेकिन आपको डेस्टिनेशन तो पता है, आपको अपना घर भी पता है. ओनली देन, अगर आपको नहीं पता आप कहाँ पर हो, तब आपको ये नहीं पता कि कितनी देर में पहुँचोगे, कितना टाइम लगेगा, कौन सा ऐप यूज़ करना है, कौन सा रास्ता यूज़ करना है, क्या मैं वॉक करूँ कि मैं टैक्सी लूँ. ये सब तो रियलिटी से ही पता चलेगा कि मुझे आज पता होना चाहिए कि भाई रियलिटी क्या है, हमारी चैलेंजेस क्या है. अगर हमने एआई डेवलप नहीं किया है या फिर हमने कोई ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप नहीं की है, तो क्या जो हम एस्पायर कर रहे हैं, प्राउड तो होना ही है ना. तभी तो हम सब लड़ रहे हैं इस चीज़ के लिए कि भाई हम बेटर करें, एजुकेशन भी बेटर करें, इकॉनमी भी बेटर करें, पॉलिटिक्स भी बेटर करें, सब और अच्छा करें. किसके लिए? कंट्री के लिए ना. नहीं तो फिर तो कोई डिस्कशन ही नहीं है अदरवाइज. तो जो अगेन बैक टू द सेम क्वेश्चन कि जो एजुकेशन है तो वो मतलब फास्टर तो करना ही पड़ेगा हमें. अगर हम कंपेयर करें इससे चाइना का भी, अगर हम देखें अभी, चाइना हैज़ लाइक प्रोग्रेस्ड.
China has progress. I mean, you can't compare China with India.
काफ़ी मतलब
You are a democracy.
जी.
Let's not forget that. You know, you named Singapore also. I mean, your hands were at one time chopped. You know, if you did not follow the traffic rules, it happens in some countries. Would you like that to happen in India? Our people go outside and they follow all the rules. Here they spit on the road. What do you do for that?
रोड में सरकारी ऑफिसेस के अंदर, मतलब सरकारी प्राइवेट कहीं भी ऑफिस के अंदर रोड तो अब
so the people's
सिंगापुर में हाई फाइन्स है, आप
and
थूक नहीं
people's
सकते हो.
values, that also has to change.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
So it will take time. We are behind. There is no doubt about it. But then we have our own way of doing it. We cannot surpass democracy. You know, we have to follow the same process. And China, the one reason that China has gone ahead is because they don't have to ask anybody. They don't have to go to any
अगर
parliament.
ये रीज़न होता तो बाकी जितनी भी जगह है जो जहाँ पर डेमोक्रेसी नहीं है वो आगे चली जाती. लेकिन सब तो नहीं हुए डेवलप. जैसे कि नॉर्थ कोरिया नहीं है, वहाँ भी नहीं है डेमोक्रेसी, लेकिन वो चाइना तो नहीं बन पाया. सॉरी, हाँ नॉर्थ कोरिया या फिर और भी जगह हैं, 2-3 जगह और हैं, वहाँ पर नहीं है डेमोक्रेसी, तो नहीं चल पा रहा है.
नहीं, ऐसी बात नहीं है. I mean, the Gulf countries have improved. I mean, they are also not democracy.
They have improved because their lands give them the money.
Okay, so you
but
can
they
say
have not. They are not the. They are not ahead of China in terms of innovation and technology and all of this.
Because I mean,
वो तो
the
पैसा
education
उनको
has
बेच
suffered.
रहे हैं, खा रहे हैं, बेच रहे हैं, खा रहे हैं, तो वो तो खराब है.
So that is why I am saying that I think we should. We are not in a position to compare with China. Of course, China is our competitor. Many people give example of China, but there are many ways. Despite all that, China's economy is not doing well today. The unemployment rate is soaring very high there. The real estate industry has collapsed there. Their exports have come heavily down. So they are also having their problem.
But ये वाला ये data based है.
हाँ. But education wise, they are doing very well. Innovation is very good. What they think today, the rest of the world thinks 10 years, 20 years down the line. So that we have to take.
Okay. Let's come to you talk about strategic leadership, है ना, a lot. तो स्कूल के लिए स्ट्रैटेजिक लीडरशिप क्या है? एक तो सिंपल शब्दों में कि एग्जैक्टली है क्या स्ट्रैटेजिक लीडरशिप, एंड देन व्हाट वन लाइक मिसअंडरस्टैंड्स बट अबाउट स्ट्रैटेजिक लीडरशिप, और अगर पता ही नहीं है तो एक बार उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा हम बात करना चाहिए.
See, I'll tell you what is leadership first. पहले तो लीडरशिप है, तभी तो स्ट्रैटेजी आएगी उसमें, है कि नहीं? So a leadership in any organization is one which is aligned to the vision, mission and core values of that organization. So for example, this particular studio, the vision of this studio, I'm just telling, I'm not knowing it, vision of this studio is that every customer will have the finest experience of podcasting. That is their vision.
ठीक है.
Mission is that they will do it by creating world-class infrastructure. So, vision is your destination. Mission is how will we do it. And then to go to your destination, you may be tempted to take shortcuts. But values don't allow you to take shortcuts. And that is why we have a set of core values that come what may. We may be delayed, whatever it is, but we will not take shortcuts. So, for example, I have to go to Ahmedabad and I have a train only, but there is no ticket. So, if I compromise, I will go without ticket. Because my vision is to reach Ahmedabad. My vehicle is Ahmedabad Express.
Correct.
So if you compromise, then you have compromised. If you don't, then you have allowed your character to shine through.
Nice.
You get my point?
Yeah.
So vision, mission, and core values. So we have to stick to our core values.
Okay.
And the mission and the value. Now the leader has to drive the team to achieve that vision. By adhering to the core values and by providing those mission vehicles. You get my point? And what will happen? So for a school, now we are talking of school leadership, invariably, I would imagine that our vision is what? To create future for our children. In short. Now, to create that future, they are our major stakeholders. We have to have infrastructure, we have to have good teachers, good teaching, good facility, good library. These are our vehicles. But we will not allow them to use unfair means in the exam so that their number goes high. That will be against the values.
Correct.
You right? Now, how to maximum utilization of resources? So, maximization of the resources. How do we leverage it? And what practices we bring in it, that becomes the part of a strategy. That becomes the part of strategy. So, for example, the teachers have to be good, but do teachers know what are the good teaching practices? Do teachers know that how to know what are the needs of the children in the classroom? This will be part of the strategy.
Okay.
So, a strategic leadership is one which is able to identify the exact needs of the stakeholders and how to utilize or provide resources to achieve that.
Okay.
That is strategic leadership.
Strategic leadership.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Am I clear?
You're making sense. Yes.
So for that, the leader has to be fully equipped herself, isn't it? So I will tell you, my school headmaster will be the first to grab his hand at the new book in the market. Before anybody else has known, he will know it, and he will bring it in the library.
How?
I mean, he will go and buy it and find out.
No, I mean, you have established that culture in the school.
No, I'm not talking of, I'm talking of my headmaster.
Okay.
Not my school headmaster. I'm talking.
Okay, leader. Yeah.
My school headmaster, the middle school headmaster. I'm talking of 40 years ago. So that was his strategy, that the best books available in the market should be available to my children.
So he would do that. Yes.
He would do that. So a leader has to be so foresighted or far-sighted for that matter, isn't it? That you know what is best for our children is available or not.
Yeah. And how to
Our teachers, how to take care of them, how to motivate them, how to ensure their well-being, so that their efficiency, their productivity, their dedication, their output is maximum. That is the part of a strategy.
Nice. And do you think that, how many schools do you think that follow this path?
Not many. And I think this is the answer that you wanted to hear also from me. I wanted to...
आपने मेरे आंसर के लिए satisfy कर दिया. Okay, you want to listen to this? ये लो.
I wanted you to be happy about it. But the question is, more and... You know why I registered your comments? because a lot of effort is being made in teacher training, in leadership training, in severing ourselves from the past practices. So it will be very difficult to say how many, but I would say that the all-pervading effort is there. How much of a result is there, I'll not be able to guess here in this studio. But the second answer to your question is, it should not take a lot of time, and it should happen as early as possible, isn't it? Because every school head is the chief future architect of those 1,000, 2,000 children. And he or she doesn't have time to wait. By the time you wait, a few batches would have gone by with less resources and preparation for the world. So that we can't afford.
अच्छा, आपकी एक केस स्टडी है जो कि बहुत पॉपुलर है एंड IIMs में, ट्रेनिंग्स में वो केस स्टडीज़ पढ़ाई जाती है. So I wanted you to also share a little bit insight from that case study. What is that case study and what happened that they chose it, and what one can learn from it?
Okay, very good question. So I was a teacher, as I told you, and then I became a principal. So when I became a principal, I took a very conscious decision that I will not do those one or two things which were detrimental to the progress of a school. That's number one. Number two, I will do all those good things which my principals did to make a school good school. And the third thing that I decided was that I will create new opportunities and new innovations for the betterment of the students and teachers. These were my 2-3 conscious decisions. So very interestingly, you should ask, but perhaps you know that I'm going to answer it, that what were those things which I did not want to do it? And one of those things was not to invest adequately in the asset of teachers. I consider teachers as assets of an institution. And if you want your assets to give you dividend, you invest in them. Doesn't it? And you invest in them very strategically. For that, you have to understand, first of all, that teachers will make the difference in the classroom. Nobody else. The school is primarily because children are there, and secondary because teachers are there. Rest, everything is peripheral. Of course, leadership is there. Leadership is also part of teacher, as I told you. So if you do not sharpen the axe of the teachers, and they continue to do the same thing again and again and again and again, then after 20 years, the teacher has not improved. It was only 1 year of experience, repeated 19 times. Right? Whereas the sharpening of the axe, it is one of the highly effective people's habits. In that book you might have read. So one of the habits is to sharpen your axe.
The saw,
So the sharpening of the axe of the teacher is that every batch of children are different. You have to know them. You have to understand them. And if they are different, your teaching strategy has to change.
Also, the world is changing.
World, forget about the world. Your own children.
The new batch is very different. Yes.
So you have to do differently. So anyway, in short, so I thought that when I become the principal, I'll be in a position to invest in the teachers, make them feel proud of their profession, give them opportunity, and encourage them also to invest in themselves. And this is the experiment that I started. I created 3-4 more layers of teacher development. One is, of course, externally driven. Second is internally driven. And the third is self-driven. External, internal, and self. And creating internal resource persons. Creating incentives for them at every stage. Providing facilities for them. Sponsoring them.
Incentives कैसे वाले?
So incentives are cashless incentives also and cash incentives also.
Okay.
So, Shakeel, I love the way you were engaging with the children in the class today in 7th A. Write it and give it to Shakeel at the end of the day.
I feel good about
Shakeel will die for the children. You get my point?
Yeah.
So this is one incentivization. You have done something good. In the assembly, I announce that, come on, let's clap for Shakeel.
Become hero.
Shout out. We call it shout out. Yeah, handwritten slip. As a principal, I get many passes for theaters and things like that. I don't go everywhere. I give it to my high performing.
Easy.
These are all cashless.
Yeah. Beautiful.
These are all cashless. But Shakeel is organizing a training where I will send one of my teachers. I'll sponsor. Teacher will not have to pay. I will pay. That is another incentive.
Correct.
You get my point? I think that a teacher should have a laptop. But teacher cannot buy a laptop for 30,000 rupees. So I will provide a soft loan. I will give 30,000 rupees, not from my pocket, from the school's exchequer, and you give 2,000 rupees per month. Teacher will not mind it. This is also an incentive.
Nice.
You get my point?
I get it, yes.
One of my teachers is very good, and you want to write, I will encourage her to write. I will encourage her to write an academic paper. I will help. I will seek help, whatever it is, isn't it? I will ensure that it is published. I will ensure that the teacher goes and presents that paper.
So their talent, their passion is supported at the organization. Yes.
That will give the teacher that feeling of growth, feeling of belongingness, feeling of self-worth.
Because teacher retention बड़ा issue है. बहुत बड़ा issue है इसको.
So all these things I started doing, and then I invited IIM Ahmedabad, come and see 10 years of my work, what has happened, the result. And then they came, they met the teachers, they met the parents, they met the students, they met the former students. Focus group study, the personal interview, the data and evidences. And then they thought that the things that some of them I mentioned, a lot more which they thought is worth documenting it, and a good story for others to read and emulate. So they did it. IIM Ahmedabad.
Since we've been talking about career and again we talked about teachers. अच्छा एक अगर मैसेज देना हो आपको टीचर्स को, जैसे टीचर्स सब टीचर्स तो प्रिंसिपल नहीं बनते, है ना, और तो क्या उनके करियर में उनको ख्याल रखना है इस चीज़ का कि उनको इनफ ग्रोथ मिले, कि जैसे समबडी इज एस्पायरिंग टू बिकम अ प्रिंसिपल, कि उसने आज ज्वाइन करा है कि मुझे पता है कि मेरी ग्रोथ जर्नी ये रहने वाली है कि आई विल बिकम अ टीचर एंड देन दिस इज हाउ आई एम गोइंग टू ग्रो. क्या डूज एंड डोंट्स याद रखने हैं उस टीचर को कि उसको अप्रोप्रिएट ग्रोथ मिले?
So everybody who becomes a second lieutenant,
जी,
passing out parade from IMA, you have seen the throw and they're all second lieutenants.
Okay.
And they all know that one will become general out. They all know.
Okay, how?
एक ही बनेगा ना जनरल.
हाँ, वो तो एक तो बनेगा, ये तो सबको पता है.
एक ही बनेगा. और
बट कौन सा बनेगा?
और 10 और 20 लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल बनेंगे.
जी.
100-150 मेजर जनरल बनेंगे. 1000 के आसपास ब्रिगेडियर बनेंगे.
बिल्कुल.
यही तो उनको भी तो पता है ना. तो दे विल बिकम कैप्टन्स एंड मेजर्स एंड लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल्स एंड कर्नल्स. बट डज दैट बॉदर देम दैट आई विल बिकम जनरल और नॉट?
क्या पता करता होगा. नहीं,
अरे करता होता तो फिर इंडियन आर्मी, आपके लार्जेस्ट आर्मी इन द वर्ल्ड कैसे होती? किसी जगह की आर्मी छोड़ दो.
सेंसिटिव टॉपिक है, बट
किसी भी जगह के आर्मी की बात कर लो. मैं एक उदाहरण दे रहा हूँ ना.
टीचर्स का लगता तो होगा ना टीचर्स को कि आई एम मोर डिजर्विंग.
इसीलिए तो टीचर्स को समझाने की जरूरत है भाई. तो समझाने के लिए तो आदर्श उदाहरण दिए जाते हैं.
बहुत बढ़िया आंसर.
आदर्श उदाहरण तो समझाने के लिए दिए जाते हैं भाई.
नहीं, मेरा
किसी भी प्रोफेशन.
मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि अगर उनको समझाना नहीं है, लेट्स से
भाई पॉलिटिशियंस का दे दूं उदाहरण, तो एक ही प्रधानमंत्री बनेगा ना.
नहीं, बट उन्होंने कुछ तो ऐसा किया होगा ना कि वो बने.
एग्जैक्टली,
है ना.
वेरी गुड.
तो ऐसा नहीं है कि बहुत सारे और आपको कितने तो नेता आपको पता है कि बन ही नहीं सकता कभी.
एग्जैक्टली. तो
कैसे
आई एम कमिंग टू दैट ओनली ना. यही तो मैं बता रहा हूँ कि यू हैव टू बी worthy of yourself first. You have to derive satisfaction and fulfillment of what you are doing. और उसके लिए ही ज़रूरी है जो मैं आपको बताने जा रहा हूँ. मैंने 4-5 उदाहरण आपको ऑलरेडी दे दिए भाई. यू कैन बी अ राइटर, यू कैन बी अ स्पीकर, यू कैन बी अ ब्लॉगर, यू कैन मेक ए वीडियो, यू कैन टॉक, यू कैन ट्रेन, Do all these things. But if you choose yourself that no, I'll go in the classroom, I come out of the classroom, I go home, I forget about the school and the children, सुबह 8 बजे फिर हमको याद आएगा, फिर हम जाएं, तब तो नहीं होगा ना, तब नहीं होगा. So my message is that you are the architects of these children. These children look up to you, and you look into their eyes, and then read the language of their eyes. That teacher, I love you. I trust you. I am in your hands. My parents have entrusted you. Do your best for me. Do your best for me. And then you see that what comes to your mind.
I see. But इसके लिए कोई strategy नहीं हो सकती है?
क्या? किसके लिए?
कि maximum growth के लिए school education में.
नहीं, strategy क्या हो सकती है आप बताइए?
I don't know how to, मतलब just performance wise कि किन चीज़ों का ख्याल रखा जाए, maybe taking leadership roles.
That's what I'm saying. Leadership, you see, the question is, you have to be growth minded. You have to be growth minded. Not many people are prepared to take a leadership role because it is fraught with risk.
Yes.
But if
क्योंकि मेहनत ज़्यादा है उसमें.
So if somebody is ready, after all those who are in the leadership position, they have taken that risk.
Yes.
And some of them might have wanted and they could not reach there because of the competition. So you have to take the plunge. If you are not getting that, don't get frustrated and do your best wherever you are. And it is true of any career. Every career becomes a pyramid at the end of the day. The base is very large.
हाँ, controversial बात है ये. जैसे बहुत सारे लोगों को लगता है कि growth जल्दी change करने से आ जाती है. तो एक जगह से भागो, दूसरी जगह कर लो, हाइक मिल गया.
That is.
और सब ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, स्कूल में, बाकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में सब जगह ये होता है कि 1 साल काम किया, लेट्स से 6 महीने काम किया, जंप किया, हाइक मिला, कहीं और चले गए. But
I mean, I will not, condemn that thing totally because sometimes you find yourself in a very exploitative situation.
but वो sometimes.
So naturally you have to come out of it.
जी.
But as a strategy, since you ask, I would say that you should stick to a place to learn and grow, and for a very small numeral figures, you should not change places. That is strategically not correct. It is not only in teaching, in any other field also.
That's what I'm saying.
It is not
all organization. ऐसा कोई डेटा तो नहीं है ना कि जिससे ये क्या, मैंने तो पढ़ानी ना ही कोशिश की इसमें. I'll check that out. कि जो लोग ज़्यादा चेंज करते हैं वो जल्दी टॉप पे पहुंचते हैं, या फिर जो टिकते हैं बहुत ज़्यादा लंबे टाइम तक वो जल्दी टॉप पे
ऐसा तो कोई डेटा नहीं है. ऐसा तो कोई डेटा नहीं है. लेकिन टीचिंग वगैरह में तो इट इज़ ऑलमोस्ट फिक्स्ड. You have to put in 10-15 years minimum before you go to a senior position. So it is there.
ठीक है. अच्छा, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट पेरेंट्स अ लिटिल बिट. कुछ ऐसा एग्जाम्पल या फिर ऐसी ऑब्जर्वेशन आपने अगर देखी कि पेरेंट्स की जो डिमांड्स हैं, एक तो बहुत सारा स्कूल ना उसकी वजह से भी फ्लक्चुएट करता है. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि पेरेंट्स डिमांड सर्टेन थिंग एंड देन स्कूल टेंड टू सप्लाई दोज डिमांड्स, एंड दैट समटाइम मे नॉट बी स्कूल्स फर्स्ट चॉइस ऑल्सो. कि स्कूल लेट्स से मे बी हैविंग अ डिफरेंट फिलोसफी और ईथोस, बट वो इस बात से भी परेशान है कि एडमिशन ना गिर जाए, तो वो फिर डिमांड सप्लाई में आ जाता है. तो कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें जो पेरेंट्स को लगता है कि सही है डिमांड करना, लेकिन वो सही नहीं है. ऐसा कुछ अगर आपके माइंड में कुछ आता है तो शेयर कीजिए.
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. देखिए, एवरी पेरेंट वांट्स गुड एजुकेशन.
हाँ, लेकिन एवरी पेरेंट डज नॉट अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज़ गुड एजुकेशन. ये तो है ना.
नहीं, ऐसा भी नहीं है. आई डोंट थिंक वी कैन say that with great certainty or confidence. Good education means what is the story child brings back home, doesn't it? If the child comes back home that आज class में कुछ हुआ नहीं, teacher did not come, I did not understand, तो that will excite the parent to come to school, ना?
Absolutely.
तो वो सब तो नहीं होना चाहिए ना. But if the child comes that, oh, today we had a great discussion in the classroom and I also participated in that, then the parent will be very happy about it. But by and large, I tell you, once the parents have put their children in school, the Indian parents, I mean, very small percentage of them is going to go back to school and ask questions. They are busy with their own work. But if the children bring those disturbing stories of any maltreatment or security issues, misbehavior issues, or anything alarming on the campus, then naturally they will come and demand. And they have right to do that.
I'll put some example to clarify my question also a little bit more. So why I'm asking this is because we meet a lot of schools and very closely we work with them, so we know their issues, and parents are sometimes pain for schools. When they are pain, when probably the school is a traditional school, now they've probably learned something new, they've traveled, they've studied, and they want to change something. For example, let's say they want to now they don't want to force children writing at age, let's say 4, because earlier they have been doing it, but now they studied कि भाई अभी हाथ की जो मसल्स हैं वो रेडी नहीं है, तो राइटिंग अभी ज़रूरी नहीं है. लेकिन पेरेंट्स को लग रहा है कि जो पड़ोस वाला स्कूल है वो तो सिखा देता है, हमारे बच्चों को आप क्यों नहीं सिखा रहे हो. तो ये मुझे लगता है कि जैसे एक ये मुझे समझ में आता है कि गलत डिमांड है. अब क्योंकि पेरेंट्स फोर्स कर रहे हैं, वो स्कूल तो इम्प्रूव करना चाह रहा है, दे हैव स्टडीड, दे हैव स्पेंट मनी ऑन ट्रेनिंग एंड दे अंडरस्टूड कि हाँ भाई ये तो गलत है, हम गलत कर रहे थे इस चीज़ को. देयर शुड बी अप्रोप्रिएट एज, बिफोर दैट देयर शुड बी फाइन मोटर स्किल्स एक्टिविटीज़ ओनली, एंड वी विल डू दैट फॉर कपल ऑफ ईयर्स, एंड देन वी विल स्टार्ट स्लोली राइटिंग. कर्सिव का भी एक इसी तरह का आर्ग्यूमेंट है कि पेरेंट्स को लग सकता है, कुछ स्कूल्स को भी लगता है, देन स्कूल अंडरस्टैंड कि हाँ ठीक है उसकी शायद ज़रूरत नहीं है अभी इतनी, क्योंकि सब टाइप होने लगा है. और then also cursive at that age creates so much confusion for the child also, क्योंकि वो पढ़ना सीख रहा है और वो कहीं भी कर्सिव लिखा हुआ नहीं देखता है, बिल बोर्ड्स पे, बाहर कहीं भी, नॉवेल्स में या किसी भी किताब में, पेपर में कर्सिव कहीं भी नहीं है, राइट. बट उसको लिखना सिखाते हैं तो कन्फ्यूजन नहीं होनी चाहिए. तो इस तरह की स्टडीज़ हैं, लेकिन पेरेंट्स को नहीं समझ, क्योंकि स्कूल इंप्रूवमेंट के लिए काम कर रहा है ना. जैसे आपने बोला आपने अपने टीचर्स पे इन्वेस्ट किया, टीचर सीख के आ गए नया, उन्होंने बोला कि सर हमने नया ये सीखा है एंड वी शुड चेंज इट, वी हैव बीन डूइंग इट रॉन्ग. आप भी कन्विंस हो गए एज अ प्रिंसिपल कि हाँ यार चेंज कर दो इसको, और अब पेरेंट्स को तो नहीं आया समझ में. तो ऐसी डिमांड्स तो आती होंगी डेफिनेटली, बिकॉज स्कूल्स
दीज आर ऑल वेरी माइक्रो इश्यूज. And this is very specific to schools. And if some issues like come, the principal and teachers, they should have the ability to convince the parents. They should be having very strong conviction, and parents understand it. It's not like that. I don't see it as an issue. And these are not the issues at all. These are not the issues. The issues could be, I mean, a child has been mishandled. That becomes the issue. The administrative problems are bigger issues. The condition of the bus or the hygienic conditions. I mean, those issues parents get little. But as far as academic issues are concerned, if the school is convinced what they are doing is the right thing, I'm sure they will have the ways and means to
convince parents also. अच्छा, अगर पेरेंट्स को आप मैसेज कुछ देना चाहें, आई थिंक यू विल से कि दे विल नो, बट पेरेंट्स को कैसे समझ में आए कि कैसे पता चले मुझे कि अच्छा स्कूल है मेरे बच्चे के लिए. मेरी एरिया में लेट्स से 10 ऑप्शन है मेरे पास, एंड आई कैन अफोर्ड ऑल्सो, जिसमें से लेट्स से 4 स्कूल महंगे भी हैं, तो मुझे लगता है कि चलो मैंने महंगा वाला अफोर्ड कर लिया, वट एवर माई पेइंग कैपेसिटी इज, उसमें भी ऑप्शन हैं मेरे पास. हाउ डू आई नो कि मेरे बच्चे के लिए क्या अच्छा है.
इन इंडिया आई थिंक द चॉइस ऑफ schools is still largely based on reputation of the school. People take that data from their friends, their relatives, what the media says. Media also has a role to play. The standing of the school. I mean, these 3-4 factors are there. But sometimes, it becomes very difficult also to the message that I will give to the parents is not that which school you should go. But my message is that if your child does not get the school that you want, that was your vision. For that, don't compromise with the values that by hook or crook you will get admission there only. Right?
Correct.
I think go for the second choice. Have plan B. In your career also you have plan B and plan C.
Bilkul.
So that will be my message. And the future of your child, that destiny is not tied up with school, that future will be golden only if the child goes there. No, that will depend on so many things, right? So that is the message that I will go, rather than being very emotional about that. No, this is the school. If my child does not go there, it is the end of my child's career or my reputation or something like that. That should not happen.
क्योंकि बड़ा पेन है पेरेंट्स का ना ये कि जब एडमिशन का टाइम आता है उस टाइम पे ये जो सेकंड प्लान के बारे में तो मेरे ख्याल से कोई सोचता भी नहीं है क्या आई शुड हैव सेकंड
सो दे शुड बी रेडी फॉर दैट.
अच्छा, कोई आपके एक्सपीरियंस में यू विजिटेड hundreds, I guess thousands of schools as of now. कोई स्कूल आप मेंशन करना चाहेंगे ऐसा कि आपको देख के लगा कि यार क्या अमेजिंग है, और मतलब अमेजिंग इसलिए क्योंकि बहुत अलग है बाकी से, क्योंकि सब स्कूल्स तो नहीं होते एक जैसे, बहुत सारे लीडर्स बहुत रिबेलियस होते हैं, बहुत अलग होते हैं, बहुत सो डेफिनेटली अलग अलग तो दिखे ही होंगे स्कूल्स. तो कोई ऐसा याद आ रहा है?
नहीं
कि
मैं देखा कि किसी स्कूल का नाम तो नहीं ले सकता हूँ कि ये स्कूल, मुझे कौन से स्कूल अच्छे लगते हैं ये मैं बता सकता हूँ.
हाँ, अच्छे
हाँ, कौन से वो अच्छे के वो ट्रेड्स क्या होते हैं, ठीक है, वो मैं बताना चाहता हूँ
कि क्या क्या आपने देखा, आपको लगा कि ये बहुत अमेजिंग चीज़ देखी मैंने एक स्कूल.
तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मुझे जो है कल्चर ऑफ द स्कूल, एवरी स्कूल हैज़ एंड एवरी स्कूल शुड हैव देयर कल्चर. अब वो कल्चर क्या है? कल्चर वो होती हैं कि सम ऑफ द गुड प्रैक्टिसेस विच यू कंसिस्टेंटली प्रैक्टिस, राइट? So whether you have a prayer or you have assembly, how children walk in the corridors, they whisper or they talk loud or they shout, those things are very, very important. How teacher and students connect with each other, so that connection and that relationship is also part of the culture, and I like that. Cleanliness is something which impresses me the most. Every school should be a microcosm of a good green campus, where you should have sustainability practices, your water management, your waste management, your rain harvesting, the greenery, the plants. Those things are very, very important. I would also suggest that the good schools are those which take their children out in the nature, if nature is available. If you have a very small campus in a camp, that is not possible, but wherever it is possible, you should have it. Some of the best schools in the country, they have the practice where children do sunset watch and they meditate.
Very interesting.
Right? So if that is the case, that is very important. There are some schools where you have a contemplation ground, where children have the opportunity, all religions, to go and contemplate in the name of their gods and goddesses. So I think these are some of the inherent things which are very good. My wish is that every school should become a center of not a cutthroat competition or a cutthroat marks or a place where you build your career. I would like schools to compete, to be centers where characters are built, good health is built.
Beautiful, yes.
Good human beings are built, and they should advertise on their websites, not that how many IITians I have produced. They should advertise how many children have contributed to the community work.
Superb. Superb.
People don't talk about that.
No, I rarely see it.
So that is the kind of school that I would like to have and to flourish.
Because this is very interesting point, that what they are actually promoting. If they are saying, let's say 5 students and they put their photographs that they have gone to IIT, then why only 5?
Then why only 5?
200 students graduated from your school. So why only 5? If you knew how to send them to IITs, why didn't you send them all? Because you did not know actually. You were just taking advantage of those 5 students because they went somewhere. And also this point that nobody is promoting that we make good human beings. And if they start promoting
purpose of education is that,
and especially school education. School education is character building, making you a good person. You know what is good for me, what is good for my health, what is good for my environment, what is good for my country. So all of that, like, so small circle, then bigger and bigger and bigger, and you understand all of that, become aware. And also because in a fast changing world, you do not know which career you have to prepare them for. How do you know? You don't know. How will you be preparing? So what you can make sure that they are aware, they are original to themselves, and they will adjust. They are flexible. They will adjust to the environment. And later after school, they should start seeking the career actually.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. एक अगर कोई किस्सा बता पाए, कोई ऐसा where you tried something but you failed but you learned. So any story
as a teacher?
In your career, kabhi bhi.
In my career as a teacher? No, I
Learning
tried.
from
Of course, I mean, I would have always loved, all my focus has always been, teacher development, So I would, and I'm also very sorry to note that, every parent who comes to a school, they all want good teachers. None of them want their children to be good teachers. So that is one thing that I regret. I encourage them. I have appointed 4 of my former students as teachers.
Wow.
So at least I succeeded to bring 4 of them back into the teaching profession, and they are proudly doing that. They are very happy. I'm sure many more will come in the future. So that is the tragedy of India, that we have. I wrote an article some time back. India suffers from the deficiency of vitamin T, T for teachers. Okay, so
Nice.
so deficiency of vitamin T will result into deficiency of good people and good citizens. So that is our tragedy. So this is one failure of the system, that why teaching profession is not considered to be as lucrative as any other profession. So that's it.
Yeah. Koi skill, so everybody has been talking about 21st century skills, right? You talk about values a lot. So do you recall any skill of 20th century which you want to be continued? कुछ ऐसी चीज़ जो कि आपको चाहिए कि 21st century में भी कैरी करना है, हमको ये नहीं छोड़ सकते हैं.
To tell you honestly,
पिछले ज़माने की skill.
To tell you honestly, a lot of things of Pichle Zamana, as we call it. In fact, they are the most progressive Zamana if I compare it today. I think they should be carried forward. And namely what? Respecting each other. Valuing each other. Relationship. Taking utmost sacrifice to help others. I mean, these are the values. You get my point? Even in teaching profession, the teacher not bothering about the money and things like that. The only focus of the teacher is that my students should do well for that extra classes. My headmaster, I talk about him quite a lot. He would organize evening classes. And evening classes in a village, how do you organize an evening class? You have to have big lanterns with kerosene oil. Only that would produce some light. There was no electricity.
Correct.
So he will make all these logistic arrangement, and he will get all the children in the evening. So I think those values, I think should be. So therefore, that converted into 21st century. In 21st century also we are talking quite a lot about interpersonal relationship. We are talking of intrapersonal relationship. So interpersonal relationship is understanding each other. Intrapersonal is knowing your own, your values, what you stand for, what you will compromise, what you will not compromise. So, I mean, probably a rephrasing and a new jargon. And therefore, apart from the advent of technology, I do not subscribe to the fact that the skills have vastly changed. Isn't it? I mean, you have to be emotionally balanced.
Correct.
And therefore, we talk of socio-emotional skill. But the question is that the previously also, if you are not aware of yourself, and if you're not aware of others, if you're not socially intelligent, how will you build a relationship?
Correct.
You just can't build a relationship. So that skill was then also, this skill is available today also. But yes, technology has made a lot of difference. And that is why I say that 21st century skill, all the skills that we are talking about, in which century it was not necessary to be a good communicator?
Always, forever.
In which century you did not have to work together?
Always, forever.
Every century encouraged to be creative. if man and woman were not creative, I think the engine would not have come, electricity would not have come. So the whole idea is that 21st century skill that we talk about today is only because the times have changed. So how those skills will apply in today's times, I think that is what we have to learn.
Should students use AI?
Of course they should use.
To do their homework?
Homework?
Assignments?
No, you see, I will tell you.
See.
We have to be a little more matured. That maturity will come after some time. But the question is, Einstein was a very good teacher and Feynman, they were very good physics teachers. And sometimes deliberately in their successive batches, they will give the same question paper. Same question paper, which was given last year.
Achha.
And people are, what the hell you're doing? And this. I said, no, question paper is same, but children are different.
Correct.
You get my point? So now our fear is that we will give something. And do you know that we experimented with open book tests in this country? Even now some universities, they give open book tests. So if open book tests can be given, so AI is much better than that.
Yeah, it is.
AI is much better than that. So now the question is, what kind of questions we ask? What kind of assignments we prepare? Isn't it? And even if 5 children have brought the same, your Professor Debashish had given an interview a few days ago. And what he said was that if all the children have done their assignment through AI, we are not looking at what they have given. We are looking at what is the content that they have given in this.
Correct.
What is their creativity in
Absolutely. So assessment criteria will
Criteria will have to change.
How you give the assignment will be changed.
Absolutely.
Because you cannot ignore the tools. If I have it, even if you ask me to not use it, I will think my teacher is outdated. Why is she asking me to not use it when I have the information, when I have the technology, I'm going to use it. So assignments ऐसे होने चाहिए कि वो यूज करने के बाद ही पता चले कि अच्छा अच्छे से यूज आता है कि आपने अच्छे से यूज किया है ना कि सही चीज निकाली बिकॉज उसमें भी तो होगा कि सब अच्छा नहीं निकाल पाएंगे
Absolutely.
बिल्कुल तो उसी के बेस पे अगर हम असेस करेंगे तो अच्छा विल क्लोज इट आई हैव जस्ट लास्ट क्वेश्चन आर देयर एनी बुक्स दैट हैव इम्पैक्टेड यू
आई एम अ फैन ऑफ John C. Maxwell.
Okay.
And I'm a certified John C. Maxwell coach also.
Oh, nice.
So I have been trained under him. And he has greatly influenced my leadership style, my understanding of leadership.
Nice.
And the meaning of positive thinking, the relationship, charisma, humility, courage, character versus compromise. All these fundamentals of leadership, I came to know through his writings, through his speeches, and through his training programs. So I think I consider him as my leadership guru.
And are there any books you would like to suggest to teachers, young teachers?
Yeah, so he has written a lot of books. You just Google John C. Maxwell,
okay.
and you will find all his leadership books.
Okay. आपने बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स लिखे हैं और अगर वो एक्सेस करने हो टीचर्स
को तो I have my blog, my website is there.
So I'll mention it. Can you Ashok Pandey?
AshokKPandey.net.
Okay. So those articles are there.
Yeah.
So
all
people can
all my articles and all that there.
Okay.
They can visit my LinkedIn profile. So that will also give me all my posts and
so I'll post your LinkedIn
LinkedIn and my
also
website also.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
It was really wonderful talking
Thank
to
you for this marathon discussion. And and I think all these people, they started saying, "अरे जल्दी खत्म करो."
जल्दी खत्म करो. बहुत लंबा हो गया.
बहुत हो गया. इतने में तो हम 3 पॉडकास्ट कर लेते.
No, it was such a lovely having you, sir. I'm so happy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.